Hello, this is the first video in a series of exercises in which we will use operators. After reading each exercise, pause this video and try to solve it, after which we will solve it together. Exercise 1. Declare two variables of type int. Name them number 1 and number 2. Initialize them and print them. Pause this video and try. We will write int number 1 equals 100. Int number 2 equals 30. To print them, let's use the system out printf. We will write the first number is %d and the second number is again %d. After the comma, we will specify number 1 and number 2. We will run our program and we can see our text printed here in the console. Exercise 2. Declare four variables: sum, difference, multiply and division. Each one of these variables must contain the result of the previous two variables operations. Print the results, pause this video and try, and we will solve it right after. We will write int sum, int difference, int multiply and int division. The sum will be equal to number 1 plus number 2. The difference will be equal to number 1 minus number 2. Multiply is equal to number 1 times number 2, and division is equal to number 1 slash number 2. To print them, this time let's use concatenation. We will write the system out print line. The sum is equal to plus sum, system out print line. The difference is equal to plus difference, and the same goes for multiply and division. We will run our application and we can see all of our results printed in the console. We can see the sum is equal to 130, difference 70, 3003. Let's also put a system out print line right after the system out printf. In the third exercise, let's also repeat the process relating the second number to the first. Declare four variables of type int named sum, difference, multiply and division. Each one of them must contain the result of the second number from exercise 1 reported to the first. Pause this video and write the code. After that, we will solve it together. The exercise should look just like the last one, so we can copy and paste it. Only this time, we can see that we have a problem here. We can see that if we try to copy the variables and paste them, we will not be allowed. Why? Because we will never be allowed to have two variables with the same name. Therefore, we will have to call our variables sum2, difference 2, multiply 2 and division 2. Also, let's change the order. Number 2 plus number 1, even though there isn't any difference. Number 2 minus number 1. Number 2 times number 1, even though again is the same. And number 2 divided by number 1. Also, let's change these variables. The sum is equal to sum2, difference 2, 2 and 2. Also, let's put it in our text. We will run our application and here we can see different results. Before we move on to the next exercise, let's also comment exercise 1, 2 and 3 in order to have as little text as possible in the console. If you want to comment on several lines of code, you can hatch them all with the mouse and press Ctrl/. Hatch all the lines of code with the mouse and press Ctrl/. Ctrl/. Now we can see that all that we have written is commented. If we run our application again, our console will be empty. So we can move on to the fourth exercise. Declare a variable number 3 and initialize it. Add the new variable to all our previous results and display them for each message. After I added number 3 to the amount, difference and so on, I got a result and specify that result. Before you try to solve it, we saw that if we hatch some specific lines of code and press Ctrl/, we will comment them. The same goes if we hatch with the mouse some commented lines of code and also press Ctrl/. Our commented code will be uncommented. So let's uncomment our two numbers and our results in order to be able to add a number to them. Pause this video and try, and after that we will solve the exercise together. Let's declare a number. Int number 3 is equal to 50. To add this number to the previous results, we will have to write sum plus equal number 3, difference plus equal number 3, and the same goes for the multiplication and division. Let's print a corresponding message for each result. We will write some systemout.printfs after I added %d to my sum. The result became again %d. I have added number 3 and my final result was the sum. We will run our application and we can see that after I've added 50 to my sum, the final result became 180. Let's also do that for difference, multiply and division. We will also change the variables. We will run our program and we can see that all these messages were printed on a single line. So far, we have used empty systemout.printlines instructions in order to move to the next row. We have another trick which can be passed directly inside the template of the systemout.printf. We can write at the end of the message a \n. If we do that, we can see that after this \n, all will be moved to the next row. We will run our program again and we can see that each message is printed on a different line. Inside the template, \n will automatically move the cursor to the next line, no matter where it is positioned in my text. \n comes from the term new line. If I were to write one, let's say here, and run my program again, I can see that after the text to my from the first sentence, my cursor was moved to the next line. Let's comment this exercise and move on to the next. Exercise 5. Declare a variable of type int and initialize it with whichever value you want. Print its multiplication table. The result should look like this. Pause this video and try, after which we will solve it together. We will write int number equals 7 and we are going to print 9 messages. We will write a systemout.println number plus, and we will concatenate it with a string, times 1 equals plus, and here we will have to print our number times 1. So let's open some parentheses and write number times 1, which is irrelevant, but let's be consistent. We will have times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Times 1, times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here we will modify all calculations. times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here we can even delete this times 1. Let's run our application. And we can see that after executing our program, we will have printed on the console the multiplication table of that number. If we were to change our variable content, let's say number equals 3, and I run my application again, my end result will still be correct. Let's move on to the sixth exercise. Before that, let's comment our written code. Declare a variable which contains the rest of 100 divided by 27. The text the rest of 100 divided by 27 is equal to that value should be printed in the console. Pause the video and write the code, after which we will solve the exercise together. Let's declare our two numbers. Int n1 is equal to 100 and int n2 is equal to 27. To calculate the rest of the division, we will have to use the modulo operator. We will have int rest is equal to n1 modulo n2. To print the message in this format, we will use a systemout format instruction. Systemout format, the rest of %d divided by %d is equal to, again, %d. Here, after the comma, we will specify n1, n2, and the rest. We will run our application, and I have a problem here because I used the systemout print line instead of a printf, so I will change it. Printf. If I run my application again, I can see that the rest of 100 divided by 27 is equal to 19. See you in the next video.